Now, Sir Lawrence Gardner has won acclaim from some quarters for his academic research, which traces elite bloodlines and hereditary titles. He has also been accused of aiding the New World Order plan by misrepresenting the truth. What do you think of Sir Lawrence Gardner's credentials?
I'd need to qualify that. If you're talking credentials as in official recognition, he has no academic credentials for the work that he does. He has no university degree in history. Genealogy is only a tool used by historians. It is not a degree subject in its own right. It is like it's like the ability to read a book. Doesn't mean to say you are an academic just because you read a book. It's just a tool. Mm-hmm. He's certainly put a lot of energy into his interest. He used to be something in the city. He used to work in the city in a brokerage at some point before he got very involved in genealogical subjects. Mm-hmm. But without a proper academic background, he makes errors over the setting of a situation, and how, if you don't know the historical circumstances of a series of events, it is very easy to misinterpret their meaning and to put a modern 20th century answer to a situation that was totally alien. The medieval world to the modern man is totally alien. Mm. He cannot equate. The words used by Victorian and Edwardian writers now, thanks to the diligent work of the Americans, now are totally understood to mean things entirely different. The Americans have destroyed the English language to such a degree that earlier writings are incomprehensible to anybody of modern education unless they take the trouble to look what the word really means. Look at the modern use of the word wicked as an example.
Do you mean in a street cred way?
Yes.
Like, do you mean kind of good or something? Almost?
Yes. But it actually means something entirely different. And that meaning was a perversion on an older meaning relating to wish.
Is that anything to do with Wicca?
Yes. So you get people who twist a word away from the meaning, and then they teach that's what the meaning is, even if it's just by rapid exposure. So somebody reading something where there are subtle word changes and sentence structures, nowadays the standard of education is so slight that they misunderstand the most common thing written in front of their noses in the books they read. Consequently, they do not understand the significance of what is going on. Mm-hmm. Just to follow a bloodline, although useful, and his work is not unique. In Brighton Library there are 2 or 3 old, very large volumes there that have all these bloodlines listed out in them. And other historians use these books as well. However, I would castigate him on going to his research with a preconceived idea in his mind. He went to prove certain people had bloodline, and in point of fact, they don't.
Was that to the Merovingian line, or?
Well, the Merovingian line is only interesting inasmuch as they married into the sacred line, which comes from Northumbria. You've got a number of people who were very, very important in early British history, like King Cole. No, it wasn't just a merry old soul. He was the first, King Cole the First, or Cole the First, was King of Carlisle and High King of Britain. He was an Arthur, as they would call them later.
Now we always think of King Arthur as one King Arthur character.
No, it's not after Ursus, it's after Arthur, High King. And they go way back to Cymbeline. Why did Shakespeare write a poem or a play that had Cymbeline in it. Why did he write all these early things if they were unimportant? He was trying to please a usurper line of kings, so he was equating that court, the Tudor court, with the early line of rightful kings through the Welsh connection. And he was talking in his plays and that of kings that were here in the 2nd to 5th century BC. And one of those had a daughter. Bellymore had a daughter called Ethildis of Camlan. Now Camlan is the root of Camelot. And she married Franco, that of the line of Franks, who became the Merovingians. And that was their link to special blood, was through Ethildis of Camlan. And she was born near Carlisle. So you have that, but that doesn't, that brings the argument back to England, which is the sacred isle in all the old writings, and it takes it away from France and Germany, because the Merovingians come from northern France, southern Germany, that sort of area. And in themselves, they are an old bloodline, and it goes quite a long way back. But their difference was that of the Merovingian bloodline, there were 3 main branches. Only one is in France, 2 are in England.
Well, why was it the sacred isle?
Because it was always considered to be the magical heart, the genesis point of the planet. Even Buddha recognized that, according to the Tibetan tradition.
This goes back before Christ, obviously.
To about 860 BC.
So the idea that Christ, or whoever came to England...
He probably did.
But that wasn't the origin of that.
No. They've always recognised these islands, not just Ireland. Ireland is wrong to consider itself to be Hyperia. It was a group of islands that were calling Hyperia, the islands beyond the winds, and that is this lot. And of that you have the island of the White, Alban. It is nothing to do with the White Cliffs of Dover, because Scotland is also called Alban. Where are the White Cliffs there? There ain't any. But it is the masculine, you're Alba and Albion. And between the middle you have the centrepiece. And that's where Camlan is, the place of doves. Camelot, call it what you wish.
We come to your name now, don't we? Dufton.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Would you like to give us your full name?
Oh,
Nice.
Baron Richard Anthony von Heimer de Dufton Ardry of the Reg, etc., etc., etc. It goes on for about half a page.
Oh, do you know it all by heart, or do you?
No, I never bothered to remember it. It's such an embarrassment.
Yeah. Oh, that's impressive enough.